Here's some papers to this. Then he may need only 2 papers. You can keep 2, 3. Yeah, just 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to listen now. We're going to start the class as I told you today's introduction. But before we start the introduction, I just want, I asked you about all your names and why did you come here. Most of you said that you'll come here for better training, but nobody else being honest and tell me, nobody being very honest. Most of you come for what? Money. Yeah, it's not just the training, you get to earn a lot of money too, compared to your countries, which we'll talk about later, what are the advantages coming here. Yes, your training is much better compared to the developing countries, UK and US. Of course, we know that in advanced technologies, advanced training. That's why most of you come here. Of course, some of your family commitments, maybe husband and wife are working here. But main reason is better training. Okay, so now, why did you come to our academy, Swamy Academy? We have so many other academies.
Because of the reputation of my wife's side.
Okay. Recommendation. Friends. Okay.
Because much size.
Any other reasons? Sorry? So many ads on the internet. I didn't know that.
I remember my mistake.
Okay. Fine, anyway. I hope you'll be happy here. I'm sure all of you want to pass the exam first attempt. Now, as I told you, let's start the class now. So this you're all come for a flap 2 training class. Like you're taking the flap 2 exam. So why are you taking this flap exam? Remember, our class is not just a one-way lecture. It's not the teacher coming, standing here and giving a lecture. It's an interactive class. So if you're asking questions, you need to participate. So my first question to you is, why are you people taking the flap exam? To get a GMC registration. Yeah, you cannot get a GMC registration unless you pass a flap exam. Okay, so, but of course, at the moment, the GMC, they don't conduct a flap exam to their own graduates, UK graduates or even European graduates. They conduct the flap exam to other doctors coming from other countries other than UK and European doctors. But why the GMC conduct the flap exam? Why the GMC conduct the flap exam? So assess your knowledge, competence. So that means they are doubting your knowledge.
No.
They have doubt on your knowledge. Yes. That's why they want to check. Why are they doubting your knowledge? If people can come from different countries and say that I'm a doctor, okay, how can the GMC believe that? So that's the reason they conduct this exam to check whether you are a real doctor or not. Now, flap has got 2 parts, flap 1 and the flap 2. What is the GMC checking in the flap 1 exam? What knowledge? What knowledge? General knowledge? General medical knowledge. And the flap 2? Communication. That's it. Practical. Well, actually, the GMC checking in the flap 1 exam is whether you are a doctor. Because as I told you, people can come from different countries and say that I'm a doctor. How can the GMC believe that? People can even give a fake medical certificate saying that, I'm a doctor. How can the GMC believe that? So that's the reason they conduct the flap 1 exam, where they check your medical knowledge. That means if you pass the flap 1 exam, that means you have a medical knowledge. That means the GMC knows that you are a doctor. That means If you pass a lab 1 exam, the GMC already knows that you're a doctor. Then why do they conduct lab 2 exam then? They already know that you're a doctor. Sorry?
How safe you are.
Okay. Is that all?
Your communication.
Communication.
Are you familiar with the system here?
Practical skills, communication skills. Sorry? They want to see whether he can be a doctor in UK. Okay. Anything else?
If you can care for the patients according to GMC standard.
Patients care according to GMC standard. Anything else?
I'm preparing myself.
Preparing yourself. Oh. Anything else?
But they need the money.
But I don't want to have only 2, but lab 1, lab 2. Yeah, if they want to, they can make 1 more there. Lab 3 also make 1. Okay, so you told me so many reasons why they conduct the lab 2 exam. Put all together and tell me in 1 word what actually they are looking for you, looking in the lab 2 exam. In the lab 1 exam, as I told you, they are looking whether you are a doctor or not. If you pass the lab 1 exam, they know that you're a doctor. So just being a doctor is not enough. They need something else, something special. What is that?
If you're a safe doctor.
Not just the same doctor. There's so many other things. Put all these things in 1 word. Good doctor. They want a good doctor. There are millions of doctors in the world. They don't want each and every doctor. What do they want? A good doctor. Okay, so this is what they're checking in the lab 2 exam. The lab 1 exam, as I said, what they're checking is whether you're a doctor. Now, what they check in the lab 2 is whether you're a good doctor. All of you good doctors? All of you good doctors? Who is a good doctor? Raise your hand, please. Who is a good doctor? Raise your hands. Who's not a good doctor? Raise your hand. People did not raise their hand. Who raise their hand now? See, you don't know what you are. Yeah? Okay, so good. Now, most of you said you're a good doctor. Tell me, what is good about it? Are you a good doctor? Are you a good doctor? You think so? Fine. What is good as a doctor?
I think I was doing very good in Syria, and I really made a very good reputation there. And so I think it's about the opinion of people and about the success of cases that I managed to, yeah.
But what do you think it is? Why you're successful? Why you're so successful? What do you the quality you have as a doctor?
I think it's not just one quality or one like.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to tell me at least one of that.
Maybe I'm not sure, but perhaps it's about. I try to like make a relationship with my patients every time.
You try to make a relationship with your patient.
Kind of.
Okay, that's what do you call that? Making a rapport. Okay, so you develop a good rapport with the patients. Okay, so you develop a good rapport with the patient. What is rapport? A bonding between the patient and the doctor. Okay, that's what you try to develop, is a bonding between the doctor and the patient. Yeah, that's what you develop a good rapport with the patient. That's very, very important to be a good doctor. Okay, tell me, are you a good doctor? I hope so. Good. But do you have any good qualities as a doctor?
Yes.
What is that?
I feel for the patient. I have empathy.
You have sympathy and empathy. So you are a very compassionate doctor. Compassion, yeah, show compassion to the patients. So that is sympathy and empathy. Are they same or are they different?
Different.
They're different. Fine. Tell me, what is empathy? What is empathy?
Putting yourself in that person.
You put yourself in the patient's shoes and you feel it yourself. That is empathy. How do you show that you are empathizing with the patient? How do you show that? What word do you use? I can understand how you feel. I can understand what you're going through. When you say I can understand what you're going through, that means you're putting yourself in the patient's shoes and feeling it yourself. That is empathy. But some of the patients, especially here, they don't like the word I can understand. If you say I can understand what you're going through, that means you to have gone through the same problem. So you have not gone through the same problem, so how can you understand? So they don't like that. The last time it happened in the exam, there was a young lady who lost her husband yesterday, talked to her about the postmortem. So people went and told her, I'm very sorry to hear that about your husband, loss of your husband, and I can understand how you're feeling about it. Then I said, oh, thank you, doctor, you can understand me. That means you also lost your husband yesterday. So they don't like this word, I can understand. So what is a better word than I can understand? I can imagine. Okay? I can imagine what you're going through. Okay, so try to avoid the word I can understand in the exam. Remember what I'm talking about, all the good things. This is what they're checking in the practice exam. That's what I'm telling you. It's very, very important in the exam. Okay, so I can imagine what you're going through. Or even better than that is, if it's in extreme cases, I can't even imagine what you're going through. Okay, something very serious. Somebody has lost somebody, some loved ones. You can say, I can't even imagine what you're going through. That is empathy. Okay, so if you simply say, I can imagine what you're going through, is it empathy?
No.
Why not?
You have to show emotion.
When you talk, it's not just the talk what shows empathy. Yeah. When you talk, from where do you talk? From where do you talk? From your heart, not from your mouth. When you talk, you should talk from your heart. Not even from the heart. From where? From the bottom of your heart. Not even from the it should come from the bottom of your heart. Okay, so you don't simply say, I can imagine what you're going through. It has to come from your expression, your facial expression, the tone of your voice is very, very, very important when you talk. Okay, your body language, you need to show that you're really empathizing with the patient. Okay, so I can imagine what you're going through. Okay, your facial, your body language, the tone of voice is very, very important. Okay, so that is empathy. And what is sympathy then? What is sympathy? You're feeling sorry, you're feeling pity for the patient. You're pitying a patient. And what word do you use for that? I'm sorry to hear. I'm very sorry to hear that you lost your loved one. Or I'm very sorry to say that you have a cancer. Okay, so that is sympathy. So are they different or the same then? They're different. Okay? Remember, whenever you talk to a patient, most of the time you have to show sympathy as well as empathy. Both you need to show sympathy as well as empathy. I said most of the time, or almost every time. Why? Why do you have to show sympathy, empathy to patients?
Everyone trusts us. We won't get a proper history.
The reason patients come to the hospital is because they have a problem. If they are healthy, they don't come to the hospital. If they come to the hospital, that means they have a health issue. So for any health issue, should you show sympathy, empathy? Most of the time they are in pain. So you have to show sympathy, empathy. That means when you talk to the patient, most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, in the exams also, in real life also, you have to show sympathy and empathy. Which one you think the people don't show usually between sympathy and empathy? Which one? Empathy. Everybody knows to say sorry, but people don't know how to show empathy. Remember, empathy is more important than sympathy. Okay, so you have marks for both sympathy and empathy, and empathy is the one what people do not show. Okay, so when I go through the stations, I can show you, you yourself not showing empathy. I will be finding it out. Where is empathy go? Okay, show your sympathy as well as empathy. Very important for exam. Okay, so compassionate doctor. So again, if you don't show any compassion in the exam to their patients, do not expect to pass this exam. Okay, what else is important? Good. Yes. randomly, I'm just asking. Anybody, tell me what is good? Sorry? Patient. Treat the patient before disease. Okay, fine. What you're talking about, compassion. Somebody already told me is a caring doctor. You should be a caring doctor too. Or somebody told me safe doctor. You need to be safe doctor. I'll be explaining a few things again. But before that, what I want to do is, most of you said that you're a good doctor. I want one of you to come here and show me that how good you are. Who wants to come here? I want one of you to be coming here and acting like a doctor. I will be the patient here. I'm going to be acting like a patient. I want one of you to be that doctor. And you're such a good doctor. I want to see how good you are. Who wants to come here? Who said a good doctor? Raise your hands, please. Come here. I'm going to give you a scenario. I'm going to give a scenario. Now, imagine this is a hospital and this is an A&E department, accident emergency department. And I'm the patient, I'm Mr. Smith. And you're the A&E SHO. What is SHO? Senior hospital. That means you're a senior doctor, junior doctor. You're still like junior doctor. Those name is senior also. Okay, so you're an SHO in the A&E department. And you don't have any seniors there. And the nurse comes and tells you, doctor, we have a 60-year-old man, Mr. Smith. Okay, he's come here because he's got a chest pain. She told you. Right? You're seeing another patient there. You're seeing another patient who's got diarrhea for the last 3 days. He is fine. He is stable. Right? So imagine that's the patient you're seeing. When you're seeing that patient, the nurse came and told you, doctor, we have another patient here who just come now. He's a 60-year-old man, he's Mr. Smith, and he says he's got a chest pain. The nurse told you this, carry on from there, whatever you want to do, and on this patient. Now, if the patient, you think, if the patient got chest pain, what do you think the nurse will do to the patient? You think the patient will be sitting, will she put him in a sitting position, lying position, propped up 45 degrees? Propped up. Yeah, chest pain, usually any chest symptoms, patients are more comfortable in a propped up position. So you can imagine the arm in a propped up position on a bed, 45 degrees. Okay? So now, you're with this patient, other patient with the diarrhea, who's a stable patient. You're taking history there with that patient. You came to know he's got diarrhea for the last 3 days, but vital signs, everything is stable. Nurse came and told you, carry on from there.
Excuse me, Mr. Brennan, I need to go to see another patient with you. Hope you don't mind. Okay, thanks for understanding. I'll be right back after something to appreciate your understanding.
Okay. And I'm sorry that I'd like to keep interrupting you. Otherwise, I might forget. So, what did he do right now?
He excused himself.
He excused himself. Why?
Because of your
Chest pain may be more serious, may need a more urgent care than a patient who got diarrhea for the last 3 days who's stable now. He won't excuse himself and go to see this patient first. So, but did he tell the patient properly why he wanted to leave? No. So tell him properly. Imagine I'm this patient. I'm Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams, tell me, I've got this diarrhea for 3 days, I've been stable. Tell me properly.
Right.
I'm the patient.
Hello, Mr. Adams, please. I need to see another patient, and I need your permission to. I need you to understand with me why I need to see get a patient.
He's paid you more, did he? Is he paying you more?
No, he isn't. No, the reason I need to see him is because he has a severe chest pain, and that's life-threatening. If I don't get to see him immediately, there's a chance that we might lose him. And at the moment you are quite stable and would still be able to help you get better overall. So I'll be back to you once I finish stabilizing him. I hope you don't mind.
It's all right, doctor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it important to make him understand?
Yeah.
Yes. Don't simply, yeah, some people they do that when they nurse tell, okay, they don't even tell anything to the patient. They just leave him there and come and talk to this patient. What do you think that patient will be thinking? Same thing what I told you. Maybe this other person has paid you more.
Yeah.
So that's why you left him. So talk to him properly, tell him that why he had to leave and see another patient. Tell him that, at the moment you're stable, but I have another patient who could be an emergency. I'll have to look at him first. It could be something emergency. Because you're stable, I will, as soon as I finish talking to him, I'll come and see you. Is it all right? So, okay, doctor, then that is the patient. So you left him. Now I come to this patient, Mr. Smith.
Okay.
I'm Mr. Smith.
Hello, Mr. Smith.
Hello.
I'm Dr. Briggs, one of the junior doctors in the emergency department.
Okay.
Sir, could I confirm your age, please?
60-year-old doctor.
Okay, I'm informed that you have chest pain.
Yes, doctor. Yeah,
I'm so sorry about that.
it's all right.
Can't imagine how it feels to have such pain.
Oh, you saw that pain. Oh, thank you, doctor.
I'd like to know some more about this pain. Could you please tell me where you're feeling the pain?
So here, doctor.
Could you point exactly where you're feeling?
Here.
How did it start? Did it start suddenly or gradually over time?
Doctor, I don't know. We're just sitting on a sofa, watching television. Suddenly this pain started, doctor. 2 hours now.
So sorry about that, Mr. Smith. Would you mind having some pain relief drugs, or would you be able to go ahead to give me more information about the pain?
You want to give your information?
Beg your pardon?
You want to give me your information about the pain? What information you want to give me?
Although I'd like to ask some more questions about it. Could I go ahead, or would you want some pain relief?
Oh, I can't bear this pain, doctor.
Okay,
Do something.
I'm going to give you some pain relief drugs.
What?
I'm going to give you tramadol.
What?
I'm going to give you paracetamol painkillers.
Paracetamol painkiller.
Yes.
Doctor, I only took paracetamol, didn't help me.
Oh, okay. And I'm going to give you something stronger, aspirin.
Aspirin is stronger than paracetamol.
Yes.
So I took that also, doctor. The ambulance came.
I'm going to give you tramadol injection.
Doctor, can you please decide properly what you want to do? I would see your pain in my chest. I can't bear this pain.
Okay, I'm going to give that.
I feel as if somebody crushing my chest.
I'm so sorry about that. So, I guess from what you told me that it started hours ago.
Yeah.
And you feel crushing pain.
Yeah.
Do you feel the pain to any other body, like your shoulder or to your back?
Going all the way together.
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah.
Have you had this type of pain before?
No, first time I'm having. I think I'm dying.
So,
Yeah.
do you have any other complaints about this pain? Just
I didn't complain anything.
any cough?
No,
Any difficulty in breathing?
no.
Okay. Is there anything you do that reduces the pain? Maybe like leaning forward or change of posture?
No, I think I'm going to die. Oh. Oh.
So, I need to place you on oxygen immediately. So I get oxygen and then place the patient on oxygen by face mask. And I get morphine. I think so I should get morphine earlier.
Oh.
And give you some liquid nitroglycerin.
Thank you. I'm feeling much better now, doctor.
Okay.
Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome.
You're the best doctor.
Okay, but now I'm going to examine you, and then examining you, I'll have to look at your eyes to check.
Look at my eyes. Oh, I can pain my chest.
And then I personally need to count your pulse to know whether your pulse is regular or irregular. And then
What is that machine they talk? Please listen. There's something very important for you to understand.
okay, from the readings on the monitor, I see that your pulse rate is high and it's very fast. And that, your blood pressure is elevated. It's not higher than normal. I would like to give you. I would like to do it. Okay, there's no ECG tracing, right? I'll have to find it. I'll call my seniors. I don't have seniors in emergency.
Oh, I think my pain is coming back. Oh, you know, doctor, my brother had similar pain. He went to the hospital. I went with him and they're doing some tracing. I said, art tracing. Are you going to do that for me too?
Oh, we already connected to a monitor. You can see your ECG tracing.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah.
He was also connected to the monitor, but they did a separate tracing, doctor.
Okay, I get it. Do that.
You want to do that
Yeah,
for me? Because I told you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Are you going to do that?
Yes, and then I'll take blood samples to do some
Are you
tests.
going to do the heart tracing?
I'll do the heart test right now.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Imagine they got ECG. ECG is normal. ECG normal.
I take blood samples for some tests to check.
Oh, right. Okay.
See the results of that.
Doctor, you saw that paper, heart tracing.
There's no ST
What?
There's no ST segmented.
What?
It's normal. Oh, the findings
Oh,
are normal.
patient. Talk to the patient.
The findings are normal.
Oh, what does that mean?
So what it means is that at the moment it's not suggestive of a heart attack at the moment. Maybe you had one and it's resolved as well.
No, fine, no heart attack, doctor. Oh, I think I'm dying.
Yeah.
You did the CPR? Oh. Oh. Oh, doctor. You're here.
Yes.
What happened to me, doctor? I briefly lost my mind.
Possibly you weren't having enough blood supply to your brain.
Why didn't have blood supply to my brain?
There's a chance that your heart wasn't beating properly.
Why did my heart didn't do so?
You had the condition in which the heart stayed condition.
Okay. So what's going to happen to me now?
I will send you for further investigations and I'm going to refer it, I'm going to invite the cardiologist to review you immediately.
Okay, doctor, you're the best doctor. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, how did you do it? Why do you think I made him do the station? What do you think? What do you wanted him to do? To show what? He's a good doctor. Fine. That's what I wanted him to show, is whether he's a good doctor or not. Now let's see the things what he already told me. Did he show that? Rapport. Did he develop a good rapport with the patient? Yes or no? Yes. Oh, I think so. Fine. How do you develop a good rapport with the patient? How do you develop a good rapport with the patient? First thing is to introduce yourself and identify the patient. Make sure you're talking to the right person. Did he check the right patient? Did he check that? Yes. He did ask the name. He did check the name. He did check the age. And also, did he introduce himself?
Yes.
Yes. He said his name and he said what doctor is introduced. Is the first part. Okay. What else you do to develop a good rapport with the patient?
How is the patient doing?
What is the first of all? Tell me what's rapport. Bonding. Doctor-patient bonding. That's bonding. That's rapport. Okay. Tell me. What else do you do to develop a good rapport with the patient?
Find out the reason why he's there, and then showing about himself, that you are in the right place, right man, we are here to help you.
So you're telling you're in the right place, you're in the right time. So everything. What is that? What is all that?
Comforting patient.
What do you call that?
Reassurance.
Reassuring. Is it important? Very important. You need to reassure. Of course, first you ask the patient what he came with, what problem he's got and everything. You ask him, talk to him. So your rapport starts from the beginning. As I told you, introduce yourself, identify the patient, ask him about the problem. Now he told you here, the patient said, I got a severe chest pain. When the patient says, I got this severe chest pain, I can't bear this pain. What people do, oh, pain, where's the pain, when, blah, blah, blah. That's not the right thing to do. So what is the first thing you need to do when the patient has got severe pain? Make them comfortable, fine. Before that, yes. What did you say? I'm very sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear that. And empathy, how do you show empathy?
I can't even imagine what you're doing.
I can't even imagine what you're going through. That's what you tell the patient about severe chest pain?
I think I wanted it before.
Empathy, you don't have to say, it's not always necessary that you have to imagine. Sometimes you can see. Yeah. So the patient, can you see the patient is in pain? Yes. Tell him, see, I can see that. Yes, you are in pain. I can see that. I'm very sorry to hear that. I can see that you are in pain. I can see that you are in distress. So empathy can be visualized also. You don't have to say, I can imagine. When the patients are in pain, don't tell them that, I can't even imagine what you're going through. That's the wrong words. Okay, here you can see that he is in distress, he's in pain. Tell him, I can see that you're in pain. I can see that you're in distress. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, so that's the first thing you do. Okay, so then, last time when somebody told him to do the station, he kept on talking about taking history for 10 minutes. So when people are in severe pain, do you think they would like to talk to you for a long time? They can't even talk to you. So that means what you need to do? Make the patient comfortable first. Patient has to be comfortable first. So that's what is caring. So how do you show that you're caring doctor? He's in pain, so offer him painkillers. Yeah, before you take a detailed history. But this patient, that he's got a chest pain. What painkiller will you offer? You give morphine. So imagine they've all got severe chest pain. Oh, you got severe chest pain. I'm sorry to hear that. I can see that you're in pain. I'm going to give you morphine. And you give morphine. And later you ask him, what type of pain is that? And he says, doctor, I feel as if there's some burning fluids coming here in the middle of the chest. And you give morphine for that? Is that the trick? So what they should do before you offer which painkiller? Find out what type of pain is that. Okay, don't simply give the painkiller straight away without even knowing what kind of. At least you should have some idea. What pain is that? Okay, first, at least ask few more questions. Can I ask you what type of pain is that? Where is the pain? Where is the pain? Here, can you see? What is this? What is this? This central chest pain. Central. Okay, so and so when do you start? He asked all these questions. When do you start? In the last 2 hours, I was sitting there watching a television. Suddenly the pain started. What type of pain is that? Doctor, I feel as if somebody is crushing my chest. Does the pain go anywhere else at all? Yes, it goes to my left arm and left jaw. What do you think this pain is due to? This is cardiac pain. Now you know this is a cardiac pain. Is it a GRD? Is it a reflux? No, this is cardiac pain, cardiac sounding pain. Now you can decide which painkiller. Which painkiller? Morphine. So, but you said paracetamol once. When people have got a pain, do you think they would have tried taking painkillers on their own? Yes. Everybody got the painkillers at their home. They would have taken paracetamol already. You ask him, have you taken any painkiller in seeing at home? Yes, I took paracetamol, it didn't help me at all. Now we know there's no point giving paracetamol. And there's a cardiac sounding chest pain. Now we know which painkiller he have to give. So now we have to give morphine, you know that. So what do you do? Now, what is the main difference between you coming from other country, okay, you practicing medicine in your own country and you practicing medicine in UK? All of you said is a better training. What is the better thing? What is the most better thing, what you say, in UK compared to your country? Sorry? Communication. Yeah. Back home, we are good doctors, but we do not communicate with the patient. For example, back home here in our country, I also come from India. I'm not from here. So if you have to talk to a patient, if you want to counsel a patient about a lumbar puncture, you want to do a lumbar puncture to a patient, how do you counsel him back home about lumbar puncture? Next one, please. Come here. Lie down. Turn aside. And then put your lips. They came out. Yeah. Then you got a lumbar. Yeah. Then you tell him, see, come after 2 days, I'll give you the result. This is how we communicate with the patient back home. But here, if you want to do a lumbar puncture, what you need to do? Explaining what is lumbar puncture. How are you doing the lumbar puncture? Why are you doing the lumbar puncture? What are the risks, benefit, risk, everything you explain properly. Okay, so then you do the procedure. You take a consent properly. Okay, so the main difference between back home and here is the communication. We do not communicate with the patient. Okay, so here very, very important is that whatever you do, you communicate, you talk to the patient. So what do you tell the patient? Now you know this is a cardiac sounding chest pain. What do? You tell the patient, yeah, Mrs. Smith, you know, I can see that you're in pain. I'm going to give you a very good painkillers to you. Yeah, that's what you call as morphine. Is that all right? Okay, thank you, doctor. So first you tell him that you're going to give him painkiller. Okay, so now in the exam, I'm talking the exam. Okay, in the exam, tell him that you're going to give painkillers. And very strong, very good painkillers. So is it all right? Patient, okay, then what do you do in the exam? In the exam, you have an examiner also there. There's an examiner. So you tell the examiner. What do you tell the examiner?
I would like to get my patients some or
last time somebody told the examiner, can you please give morphine to my patient? And examiner said, doctor, I'm not your servant here. So don't tell the examiner, give painkillers to my patient. Examiner is not your servant. Don't treat the examiner as your nurse or a servant. So last time again, somebody else asked, I told the examiner, can I give painkillers to my patient? Can I give to my patient? If you're asking the examiner, can I give painkillers? What does that mean? That means you're asking his opinion. He's an examiner. He's there to examine you. You cannot ask his opinion. So that means whose decision it is whether to give painkiller or not? Your decision. So what do you tell the examiner? I would like to give some morphine or painkillers to him. What can I do here, please? Then in the exam, the examiner says, doctor, assume he has given it. Assume he given it. Exam will tell you, assume he given it. What do you do now? Okay. Who told you assume he had given the painkillers to patient? Who told you that? Exam. So what do you do tell them? Thank the exam. Who is the most important person in the exam? Imagine exam told, okay, assume that you're giving pain. People did that. Oh, okay. Be polite to the examiners too. Do you think you should say thank you to the examiner? Yeah. Don't forget that. Thank you. Tell the examiner. Then, what do you do with the patient now?
Ask him about the previous.
First, tell him what happened.
I just gave you.
Yes, we gave you some painkiller medicine. Do you feel any better now? And in the exam, you say, yeah, doctor, I'm much better now. Thank you very much. Okay, for telling us what you did, yeah? We give him some painkillers. You feel any better now? Told Mrs. Mayor. Yes, doctor, thank you very much. Okay, so now that shows that you're a very caring doctor. Now again, if you read the GMC website about the PLAB2 guidance, there's a section which says that the common mistakes done by the candidates in the exam. And it says that you do not offer painkillers to the patients. Why does it say that? Because in some of the conditions, if you give painkillers, then it's very difficult to diagnose the condition later. That's why they say do not give painkillers before you completely finish the examination, history, examination, everything. Until you come to the diagnosis, don't you offer painkillers. Right or wrong? Will you offer painkiller before you come to the diagnosis? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes?
In this case,
In this case,
he has a history.
depends on
According to the case.
according to the case. In which case you try to avoid giving painkillers before it comes to the diagnosis. Only one condition, which is appendicitis. Because that's the only condition where the diagnosis depends on the pain or tenderness. In no other condition, diagnosis depends on the tenderness as a clinical sign to diagnose. That means all of the conditions, please offer painkillers, especially when the patients are in severe pain. If the patients are in severe pain, if you do not offer painkillers in the exam, they don't even talk to you. You fail the station straight away. Remember, in the exam, headache, severe chest pain, severe abdominal pain. If you do not offer painkillers, they don't even talk to you. You fail the station straight away. Okay, so abdominal pains, I said severe abdominal pain. So say only abdominal pain which you do not offer painkiller is when he says my pain is here. Can you see? Here, and that if it is not very severe. Imagine the patient, my pain is from here to here. I can't bear this pain. Will you offer painkiller? Yes. Which is this pain? This is renal calculus. Okay, so you have to offer painkillers. This is not appendicitis. If the pain is from loin to groin, if you do not offer painkiller, they won't even talk to you, fail the station. Okay, so please offer painkillers, as I told you. Only appendicitis, you don't have to offer painkillers. That too is only a theory, it's not practical. In this country, even for appendicitis, if the patient, even if you think it's appendicitis, as a name is SHO, you may still offer painkillers. Okay? You don't have to worry too much in the exams. You know, even in real life, you offer painkillers, even for appendicitis. Because even if you offer painkiller for appendicitis, it can reduce the pain a little bit. But when you're diagnosing appendicitis, what actually you're looking at, what sign you're looking at to diagnose appendicitis? Rebound tenderness. Rebound tenderness will not go away just because you offer painkiller. It will still be there. You can still diagnose appendicitis, even if you offer painkillers. Remember, in this country, what is very, very important is patient comfort. Patient comfort is very, very important. So every station, you make sure the patients are comfortable. When do you think the patient should be comfortable in the exam? In the beginning of the station, middle of the station, end of the station, throughout the station? Throughout the station. Because in the initially they will show pain, you offer painkiller, they're fine. But after 2 minutes again, they start having pain. What do? Are you alright? Are you okay? Oh, my pain is coming back, doctor. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Do you want me to give you some more painkiller? Okay, so make sure that they are comfortable throughout the station. When I say comfort, discomfort may not be only pain. Discomfort can be anything. Will you offer painkiller for this?
No.
No, this is shortness of breath. Is he comfortable? No. How do you make him comfortable? Oxygen. See, I'm going to give you some oxygen, it will feel better. Okay, so to make the patient comfortable, you may have to do different things. It's not just offering painkiller. You need to know why is it discomfort. Why is it discomfort? You need to. That's what you need to comfort. find out the reason why is discomfort. Okay, so caring. Now, reassurance is something very important here. When somebody has got severe chest pain, what do you think will be there in their mind? If you have severe chest pain, what do you think will be happening to you? Heart attack. Everybody thinks they have heart attack. Okay, so any around they have severe chest pain, they think that they have heart attack, and what do they think? That they're going to die. Any patient who got severe chest pain, they think that they're going to die. That means what do you need to do? Reassure them. How do you reassure them? You are in a safe place. You're in good hands. You have good doctors here. They're going to take care of you. Do not worry. So reassure the patient. Very, 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 very important piece to reassure. Did you reassure? Doctor, what's your name? Sorry? Briggs. Did you reassure? You did. Compassionate. You did show sympathy. Empathy probably didn't. Did you show empathy? Yes. That's something. Empathy. I think you showed caring. Yes, you showed that you are a very caring doctor. Safe. I'll come to that later. Reassurance. We didn't. You didn't. Which is very important here again. Okay, now rapport. Coming back to this rapport, how do you develop a good rapport? How do you develop a good rapport? The bonding. When you show sympathy, empathy, when you're showing that you're a very caring doctor, when you're reassuring, this is how you develop a good rapport with the patient. Do you understand? So the good rapport, then when you show sympathy, empathy, showing that you're a caring doctor, you're a very caring doctor, reassuring the patient, all show that you're going much closer to the patient. Okay, so this is where you develop a good bonding with the patient. What else you should do to develop a good rapport with the patient? This patient, I gave a scenario, he was got chest pain, he is on the bed, 45 degrees. So, what will you do as a doctor? Where do you stand? Far away from the patient?
No.
Where?
That's
Near to him, close to him. Okay, so was he standing close to the patient?
yes.
No. How close he should have been?
Next.
Next to the patient. Where was he? Near the leg. Look at that patient. Imagine that's a patient there. Yeah, you're standing near to the leg and talking to the patient. Where should I be?
Near him.
Near to the him. Okay, so when patients are in pain, what else you should have been doing? Patting, touching him. Yeah, this is what shows that you're a very caring doctor. Okay, so if you stay far away, there's no bonding between you and the patient. You should have been standing very close to the patient, at least patting him. Mr. Smith, don't worry, you're in good hands, we have good doctors here, we have good treatment for you, don't worry. Okay, so that's what you should have been doing. Okay, so that's where you miss the rapport. Remember, this is very, very important for the exam. Developing a good rapport with the patient. Okay, so now let's talk about something. One more thing which I was telling you 3 times, I told you. I kept on telling you, doctor, you're the best doctor, you're the best doctor. When I said you're the best doctor, what did you tell me? Thank you for the compliments. But why do you think I was telling you you're the best doctor? Okay. Now, you need to make the patient happy. Should the patient be happy with you? Who should be happy with whom? Should the patient be happy with you, or you should be happy with the patient? The patient should be happy with you. If the patient tells you, doctor, you're the best doctor, who is happy? Doctor is happy. Thank you for the compliment. Okay. Now, if you want to examine a child, yes, you're a pediatrician. Should the children be happy with you? Will they allow you to examine them unless you make them happy? You have to make them happy. How do you make the child happy with you so that they'll cooperate with you? How do you make? You give them gifts. You give them toys. You give them sweets.
Stickers.
What else you give? Stickers. What is in the sticker? Brave. That means what are you doing? How do you make the child happy? You told me 2 things. Either you give choice or the sweets or both, or one more important thing, compliments or praising them. You're a brave boy. You're a good girl. Would you do all this? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, you praise the children. So that's why the children will be happy with you. They'll cooperate with you. That's what you do for children. What do you do for adults? Will you give them a sweet? Will you give them toys? What do you do?
Praise.
Praise them. So why do you think I was praising you 3 times?
So he would praise you.
So that you praise me. Not simply saying thank you for the cook. I was giving a clue. I was telling you, doctor, praise me, praise me. How do you praise? You can't simply praise. Yeah, you're a very handsome man. Yeah. So, how would you praise him? And you should have an opportunity to praise, not simply praise. What opportunity do you have to praise him here? You come to the hospital. That's one good thing he did. What's the other good thing he did? At the right time. These are good things he did. At least praise him for that. See, you come to hospital. Imagine if he did not come to hospital because he did just pain. What would happen to him? He would have been dead at home. That's a good thing he did. He came to hospital. Secondly, he said chest pain is for 2 hours. Is it still a good time?
Yeah.
It's still a good time to do the PCR. Okay, so 2 good things he did. He came to hospital. Secondly, he came in right time. So at least praise him for that. Remember, praising the patient is very, very, very important in the exam. In every station, you should see what opportunity you have. Almost every station, the minute you get an opportunity, praise it. That's a really good thing what you did. I commend you for this. I commend you for coming to hospital and in the right time he came. So then you reassure him, because he came the right time now, you're in a safe place, you're in safe hands, and we had good treatment for you. So you don't need to be worried. So that's how you reassure. Okay? So when you praise him, this is again how you develop a good rapport with the patient. Okay, so reassuring, praising the patient. That's how you develop a good rapport. Now, one more important thing is to develop a good rapport, as I told you, is explain the patient, explaining what is happening. You try to explain to me about, I will tell you about the pain. I was telling you, what do you want to tell me about the pain? First, you explain what is happening to him. Patient should understand. And these are other main ways, main difference back home and here is that back home, you don't explain to the patient what is the problem with them. Here, you explain everything properly. Explain to him what is happening, what are you going to do, how are you going to treat everything. Explaining the patient. That's again, here helps you to develop a good rapport with the patient. Okay, so now the most important thing which I wrote in red color there is safe. What do you mean safe? Safe to whom? Safe to yourself? Last time I asked somebody, what do you mean safe? Please tell me that, wearing gloves, wearing apron. This is for safety to yourself. Is it what the GMC checking whether you want to be safe for yourself? No. Yeah, they want to see what? If the NHS hospital in this country going to appoint you as a junior doctor, will the people of this country be safe in your hands? They are saying whether the people of this country will be safe in your hands. They are not checking whether you're going to be safe from the people here. Okay, so whether the people of this country be safe in your hands. That is if they're going to appoint you as a junior doctor. Now, all of you taking the PLAB exam. Once you finish the PLAB 2 exam, once you pass the exam and you apply for a job, what jobs you will apply for? Consultant job or registrar job?
Non-training.
One non-training, which consultant? Registrar. Neither consultant, no registrar. You apply for a SHO job. SHO. What is SHO? Senior house officer. That means you're a senior doctor, yeah? No, though the name as actually is a senior house officer, you're still a junior doctor. You're just a senior to whom? House officer. You're just a senior to house officer. So that means you may be applying for an SHO position. Who is above an SHO? Who is above SHO? Registrar. And who is above registrar? Consultant. There is no senior registrar nowadays. We have registrars. Now, this is the hospital system here. Actually, in 2005, they changed the whole system here. There's the old system. Now, here in this country, so back in your country or our country, wherever it is, we have a internship which is for 1 year. Whereas in UK, internship is for 2 years, which is called Foundation Year 1 and Foundation Year 2. The internship is for 2 years, Foundation Year 1 and Foundation Year 2. FI1 is equal to the house officer, whereas FI2 is almost equal to an SHO. Okay? So now, after that, after the foundation years, then your specialty training will start. During the foundation year, you'll be posted in different specialty. Every 3 months or 4 months, you may be in rotating different specialty. 4 months in maybe in medicine, 4 months surgery, 4 months psychiatry, 4 months OBG, any of these specialties. So that is for 2 years, you're rotating all the different specialties. The previously in this country also, the house officer was only 1 year. One internship was only 1 year. But as I told you, 2005, they made it like a 2 years. 2 year, and previously the house officer was like a 6 month post. 2 6 months post, 6 months medicine, 6 months surgery, you finish the internship. But now they changed it to your 4 months in each specialty. So and for 2 years, that means how many specialty you'll be going through? 8 specialty. Okay, that's the minimum specialty you're going through. The reason they change the system is they want you to be exposed in different specialty, so that you know what specialty you like, so that you can choose a specialty what you like. So that means the specialty training will start after the foundation year 1 and 2. Then the specialty training will start, which is called as FT, specialty training. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, 5, 6, depending on the specialty which you choose. Some of them are up to 6 years, some of them may be 5 years, and that is the registrar. That's the registrar grade. And once you finish a specialty, 5, 6 years, whatever it is, depending on specialty, then you become a consultant. That's how the system is here in this country. Now, when you take the PLAB exam, the GMC looks at you as a which grade? SHO. They look at you as an SHO when taking the PLAB exam. Now, some of you maybe already finished a post-graduation training. Some of you would have already have 10, 20 years of experience in any particular specialty. But when you take an exam, the GMC looks at you only as an SHO. That means even if you're a surgeon back home, even if you've done 100 appendectomy back home, in the exam, if you think the patient got appendicitis, don't tell the patient that I'm going to do an operation on you. Okay, so because they're considering you as an SHO when you take an exam. They don't know who you are, what you are, how much experience you have, what specialty you are, they don't even know. They only consider that you are an SHO. And what is the major operation an SHO does in this country? The major operation, what can SHO do? IV cannulation. That's the biggest operation in SHO does. Okay, so nothing. So you can't say that I'll do appendicectomy. So that means do not talk about your grade. Don't talk like a registrar, don't talk like a consultant. Because if you talk like a registrar or a consultant, then you're not a safe doctor. Because you're taking the responsibility of managing a patient onto your own shoulder. Yeah, do not go about, don't talk about SHO grade. That means when you're taking the PLAB exam, think like an SHO and talk like an SHO. Yeah, don't ever talk like you're a specialist. Okay, so think you come, if you're already a specialist, if you have 10, 20 years experience, whatever it is, when you take the PLAB, come down to the SHO level, think like an SHO, talk like an SHO. I said SHO, don't talk like a house officer. Because again, when you take the lab exam, the GMC expects you to have at least 1 year of clinical experience. Which is that 1 year of clinical experience?